Hello, everybody.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
I am Janae Strother.
I'm Sean Spencer.
Back.
We are back.
We are back, ladies and gentlemen.
I gotta go out and hold up.
Come on. The lion. The lion. New man so fine. Kirk Cousins.
All right. I am Janae Strother.
I am Sean Spencer.
And this is Let's Talk Football.
Do you know what today is? It's Washington Football Weekly. Football Weekly, yeah. Do you know what today is? It's Washington Football Weekly. Here on Wednesday. Yo, what's going on? You know who it is. It's your boy, Sean Spencer, one half of that dynamic duo. That's Let's Talk Football. But it's Wednesday, ladies and gentlemen. Washington Football Weekly. Back in your living rooms. How you doing, ladies and gentlemen? I hope you're doing well. I'm glad you're here with us. I'm glad you're able to join us on this blessed night. And you already know what's going on. You already know I got the usual suspects with me. I got the man that doesn't know what a shirt is, the shirtless wonder. Yes, sir. I got the man that wants to smoke. Big Nick in the building. Yes, sir.
Can I be the Tony with the I, the E, or the Y?
Yeah.
Tony. Which one am I? Which one am I? Get the I, the E, or the Y.
You the one with the Y, man. You the one with the Y.
Right.
Listen up.
Okay.
Hey, yo,
Very good.
We gotta shout out those who are not with us. Gotta shout out Dub K, South Carolina's eggplant. He is on the road at the moment, listening into us. What's going on? And Anton, he's gonna make it this week. I'm calling it now. He's gonna be here. So watch out, tune in, because we got some good stuff to bring to you. First and foremost, I have to shout out two schools, two teams that made it through March into April. They are now national champions. The Baylor Bears. They are now champions of college basketball. For the men, the Baylor Bears upset the undefeated Gonzaga Zags. The Bulldogs gave that L on a plate, took them out, got the W, won their first ever national championship in school history. Shout out. And then we also have on the women's side, Stanford getting that W, bringing it home. Shout out to them, and shout out to Stanford. Russell Wilson's sister was on that team, right, Nick?
Yes, she was. He congratulated her in a tweet or whatever.
Yeah.
And she talked about what a supportive big brother he's always been, and how a lot of family love going around there for little sis. But I did want to show you one thing, Sean, because Gonzaga going 31-0 and then not winning the big one, in the immortal gesture of Reggie Miller.
They said they choked.
That was the biggest choke I've seen in years.
Hey,
hello.
Shout out. We got to give them love. They made it. They won 31 out of 32 games. We got to show them love for that. Okay. It is what it is. But we're watching the Football Weekly. We're not talking about basketball here. We're coming to you with the latest news and notes. And unless you've been under a rock, ladies and gentlemen, you have heard about this trade. Sam Darnold, who we've all been talking about. We've all been saying, is this guy going to get traded? Will Washington look at him? I don't know. Sam Darnold gets picked up and traded for by the Carolina Panthers for 3 picks, a 6th-round pick this year, a 2nd and a 4th in 2022, and he's going to the Carolina Panthers. Ab, what does this mean for Carolina, man? I mean, what's going on now?
So right now, so they picked up. So did you already say what the draft compensation was?
No. Talk about that for sure.
Okay, so it's a 6th round this year, a 2nd round next year, and a 4th round next year. So pretty much they got. I mean, Sam Darnold's a good quarterback. He's just had some unfortunate circumstances in New York. So he was under Adam Gase. How is he a head coach, bro? Like, how is he a head coach, but he was under that guy, and then he had mono, right? Like he had mono. Started like the first like 8 games with mono, and then got injured a few games later or something like that. Like, it's unfortunate that this man is just had the career that he's had, but he still has a positive look on him. Like, he was picked number 3 about 4 years ago, and number 3 overall, and that's what everyone is. They're hoping for his potential. They're hoping for his ceiling, high floor, even higher ceiling. So that's what they're looking for. And honestly, they already picked up his 5th-year option. So they're actually saying he's going to be our future. We need like another 2 years with this guy to see what we got. And so, but to answer your question, what it means for Carolina is that they don't have to get a 1st-round quarterback now. Like, that's real. In fact, they could probably trade back if they like to. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, especially with a rebuilding team. What was their record last year? 7-9.
I think so. It's not 6-10. I think it's 6-10 or 7-9.
So they weren't that bad. I mean, they weren't us winning the division. So like, that's what it is. But they're not a bad team. That not at all. They were just in a difficult division, and honestly, trading back would probably be the most beneficial thing that they can do now. They don't have to rush a quarterback now. They got Teddy Bridgewater. I feel bad for my man Teddy Bridgewater. Carolina is horrible about releasing these players late in free agency, man. That they did the same thing to Cam Newton, and they already gave Teddy Bridgewater permission to seek trades. They don't honestly.
That's a shame.
They don't want him there. They don't want him there. So I mean, and honestly, they're going to release him. That's what's going to happen. They're going to release him. I don't know who their 3rd quarterback is, but they can hire a veteran out there to back up Sam Darnold. So to me, they're on the up and up. Trade back this year. Trade back in the 1st round this year, and they'll be set. They'll be a team to look at in 2-3 years.
And I like that. I honestly like the move. I think it was a great move, and I gotta support your point, Ab, because I remember watching this game. First game he played for the Jets. He played against the Lions. First pass was a pick 6, and I was watching the game with somebody. I said to them, "Watch this. This is gonna be. He's gonna show his character. This is gonna show how he can battle back from adversity." And he had a great game that game. He had a great game in coming back, but the fact that he immediately, first pass he throws, picked off, brought back against Detroit, and then to have him turn around, and even beyond that, with everything he's going on. I mean, I don't want to sit here and say Adam Gase sabotaged the team, but he just wasn't a great coach at all. And Darnold had that his first couple years in the league, so he has years to play. He still got some talent. I am excited to see what he's got. We were looking at him, but Nick, like Ab mentioned a minute ago, the victim in all this is Teddy Bridgewater. You know, it happened with the injury in Minnesota. This was supposed to be the rebirth. We all remember the game against the Cardinals where he gets the rushing touchdown, and it's like, yes, he's back. But now what? I know it's a business, but what's up, Nick?
That's a great question, because I still feel like we haven't seen the best of Teddy Bridgewater, as you said. And it's crazy because as the years go on now, people are going to start to say, Teddy's, well, he's an older quarterback now. You know what I mean? I don't know. I think Teddy's only like 28 or 29 still. Like he's not 30 yet. I don't think. And so that's, it's like, but these things keep happening to him in that sense. Carolina with the pick, they finished 7-11. So you're asking yourself, does Darnold take a 5-11 team and make them all of a sudden a winning team? Is that 4-game swing going to come where they're 9-7 or 10-6? Given, like you said, what he's had to work with in New York, which I know all too well about Adam Gase with Jay Cutler here in Chicago. But whatever. I digress on that one because this is Washington Football Weekly. But yeah, Darnold has had a bad shake of it in his first few years in the league. And the kid's only like 24 still. So he's got plenty of time to turn this thing around. And I'm happy for Sam that he gets a fresh start, but really feel bad for Teddy getting knocked out again from another place without the opportunity to truly, what do you do? Like, of course, the best move here, and Ab is absolutely right. You're the Panthers now. You're not taking a quarterback at 8 or trying to move up. Now's the time to move down and add to your team because somebody's willing to move into that 8 spot. Unless you think, unless you're looking at weapons now for Sam Darnold, maybe you look at a Kyle Pitts at 8 if he's there and decide you want to take him. Or you look at one of those receivers that are, Jalen Waddell or Vontae Smith or Jamar Chase if somehow he manages to fall back that far. I don't know that that'll happen, but I'm just saying, you've got your quarterback now apparently in Carolina. Now it's time you get one of your best receiver left, right? Curtis Samuel ended up with you guys, and I think he was their best receiver last year. So you've got
Darren Anderson was a good.
Okay. But I'm just saying, you still, Darren Anderson does not instill fear in me, I hope, or anybody else that I know of.
Robbie Anderson.
Robbie Anderson.
Robbie Anderson, my bad.
What? And
I like Robbie Anderson, but
to that point, Robbie is familiar with Sam Darnold.
He is, because they played in New York.
They played together in New York.
Yes, they played in the Jets. So he's got a familiar face, fine, but Robbie Anderson's not a number one receiver, though. Just saying.
In my mind, right? I agree. But my thing is this, and I gotta go back to Teddy. Okay, I watched him in Louisville. I watched him in that whole story, and he was a great story. I watched him, and he had that Minnesota team, top team in the league, and when he really got hurt, then he had the chance to get back. Now he's over here in Carolina. My issue is this, and Ab, and I want to come to you partially with this because isn't this similar to what we talked about in New England with Cam Newton? Half that team was out. Half that team dropped out. CMC for Carolina was hurt. CMC is that team. They go and come with him, and they never really had. Samuels, yes, I'll give you that. Robbie Anderson, I don't agree he's the number one, but they haven't really had much. CMC was. He led the team in rushing and receiving. You know what I mean? Over 1,000 in both. He was that guy. So it just kind of seems like, I know it's a business, but it's just kind of like Teddy just getting a raw deal, man. You know what I mean? What you think, man? he said, wipe my hands with him.
This brings up a bigger conversation. You know what I'm saying? Why do we make excuses for white quarterbacks, but we criticize black quarterbacks given this similar situations? And that's how I look at it. Honestly, it happens all the time. We over criticize black quarterbacks for not having a good team, but we make excuses for white quarterbacks for not having a good team. And it's not why is that? You know what I'm saying? That's the conversation that we should be talking about. But yeah, it's the raw deal thing. Teddy had a raw deal. CMC literally, what was the year before? 40% of the yards.
Yeah.
40% of the yards for that team. And then but I disagree with you guys too. I think Robbie Anderson is a number one. You know what I'm saying? The dude is nice. You know what I'm saying? With Sam Darnold, Sam Darnold to me hasn't been that great. You know what I'm saying? I don't
Okay, yeah.
he's not that great to me. And but Robbie Anderson was putting up 1,000 yards in New York with him. You know what I'm saying?
But that's the only person
their
you're
backup.
referring to.
Yeah, well,
I mean,
Him
he
and-
was though. I mean, I get it. I'm not saying you're
that
not
makes him number
wrong.
one, right?
But
Does that
I'm
make
saying,
him number one?
Yeah,
The-
in theory, because everybody else is hurt. That doesn't mean that he's going to get number one money if signed
That
by
makes
another
him
team.
number one, though, right?
How much did Carolina pay him to come there? They didn't pay him number one money. That's for damn sure. So you can blow that smoke all you want. I'm just saying.
So why
the
you
fact of the matter
So
is,
what makes him number one? The pay or the
No.
number of
the
attention? he gets?
production.
obviously production at the end of the day is what counts. But you got to look at situation too. If you're forcing someone to be a number one receiver who generally would not be, yes, you look for that person to step up and make plays, right? But
So,
I'm right. I understand what you're saying there, but I'm saying as a prototypical number one receiver, Robbie Anderson is not going to blow you out of the gym. He's not going to beat you on a long pass. He was more of a slot guy. He's not. He's not. He's not.
Wait,
this is my
is the
personal
question-
opinion, bro. I don't. I don't think he's a number one receiver. That's all.
The question is he Carolina's number one receiver, or is he the number
that's
one if
Christian
you had your
McCaffrey.
first pick? Well, that's what I think. That should be the question. And hey, we're getting off topic, okay? Because Robbie Anderson is not the topic here. Sam Darnold and Teddy Bridgewater is.
Okay, my bad.
My job is to bring us in. I got to rear us back in this thing, because somebody who did potentially get number one money for most teams, not for his particular team, Tyler Lockett. Tyler Lockett got re-signed to a 4-year, $69.2 million extension. Now he's their number two. Most teams would take him as their. As a matter of fact, he was their number one for several years. You know what I mean? And
Yes.
he's not the prototypical number one. He's not a Calvin Johnson or Julio. But number one should be defined by production. And if it's defined by production, you have to give Robbie Anderson what he did over in the Jets. You have to give it to who? Pierre Garçon? He was our number one. You know what I mean? They might not be. When he was with the Colts, he was a number two to Reggie Wayne, or number three to Reggie Wayne and Marvin Harrison. But he was our number. It's different situations warrant different things.
That's what I was saying. I said I did mention situational. He was forced to be number one.
He wasn't paid as a number one, so
well, he wasn't either. But
that was the point. That's what you were saying. So let's be honest about that.
Well, I know, but I'm saying
so
he
Teddy
was forced
Bridgewater
to be the number one in New York.
Just changing the subject. Teddy Bridgewater was paid $17 million. He's being paid $17 million this year against the cap. He's $17 million against the cap this year. He's not staying with that team.
So it's business. Yeah. They're gonna get him out because of business. Yeah.
Right. He's not staying with that team.
So where do we look at getting him? Where could he potentially go? Is he going to end up on a Jacksonville and be a backup, or is he going to end up, you know what I mean, like one of these teams, like Nick? You guys got the Ginger Ninja and Andy Dalton, but do you pick up a Teddy and say, hey?
I mean, if I were the GM, hell yeah. The thing is, you've committed now $10 million to Dalton, and you still have Foles under contract. And it just, I said before that I wish we could have gone after Teddy. I said that months ago.
Yeah.
And because I had a feeling something like this might happen, or they might draft a quarterback and he'd be out at Carolina. And like you said, that's it's unfair to Teddy, but that's the way it goes sometimes. And like you said, if they're not going to take a $17 million hit after bringing in Sam Darnold. So like you said, Ab, he will be gone whether it's they can trade him before or they just outright release him and let him go, or whatever they do. Teddy Bridgewater will not be in Carolina next year. As far as to where he might end up, that's a very good question, given how a lot of the teams that are going after quarterbacks in the draft, and the other teams that have been solidifying their quarterback position by signing other guys.
Yeah.
So do you maybe if you're because again, why did San Francisco trade up to number 3? Obviously, they're going to take a quarterback at 3, or that could have been a spot for him. Maybe I don't, but now you go, okay, you eliminate them. The Giants have Daniel Jones; it's not going there. The Cowboys have their quarterback; he's not going there. Minnesota has their quarterback. He's not going there. You know, the Saints have
What
their
about-
two quarterbacks. You know, he's not
well,
going
that's
there.
the thing. Can't shout out to Cameron. He just brought up. What about New Orleans? Because I mean, we've all questioned Taysom Hill's quarterback.
Oh, sure,
title.
absolutely.
You know what I mean? We know Jameis got his numbers. James, as Ab's boy, we know he got his. He's getting some money. He's doing this. Why not bring a Teddy Bridgewater who was just there a year ago, who was undefeated, won 5 games with that New Orleans offense? Why not let him come in there and have a competition? I mean, bring him back.
You got too many chiefs, bro. Like, was it too many chefs in the kitchen? I don't see that happening. Yeah, I don't see that happen. I was sitting there looking at because he's not going to be a starter anywhere. He's not. Yeah. It's not about competition or anything like that. It's Jaguars. No. Well, Jaguars as a backup, maybe. No, they got a quarterback. Recently, what was
They're gonna have Lawrence. They're gonna have Lawrence, so they don't need.
No, they're gonna have Lawrence, but I think they got a veteran backup. That's what I'm trying to say. It's and that's pretty much the job that he's going to get. Number 2, Jets. Number 3, 49ers. That's a no. So maybe a Cincinnati backup for Cincinnati. I was looking at is it Los Angeles? The Los Angeles Rams? Do they have a backup?
Good question.
Yes, is Waffle or whatever.
Yeah,
he came in the playoff game.
We need an upgrade to him. You know what I'm saying?
That would be a nice pickup.
Ravens. We don't. They just dropped RG3 this year, so that'd be a perfect spot for him to be behind Lamar. You know what I'm saying?
What about Pittsburgh and the kind of little competition with Haskins? Number 2.
I don't see that. I think they like Dwayne. I honestly think they like Dwayne.
That. Yeah.
So I think they're going to try to give him a chance, and to bring Teddy in would just totally mess that up. I think they're just trying to get him his confidence, get Dwayne his confidence, and honestly, I'll even call it right now. My bold prediction right now: he'll end up taking over for Ben in the middle of the year. Haskins will take over for Ben in the middle of the year. Because I don't see that team being good. I don't see that team being good.
There's a hot take for you, yeah.
Yeah, I don't see that team being good. So I think they're going to be they might even be out of playoff contention early-ish. So they're going to be like, okay, Dwayne, our team's really bad. Let's see what you can do. Wow. I said it.
It's documented. It's there. So right, he said it. Smoke. Well,
there it is.
Oh, I'm like,
I'm sorry. I had to type that out.
Oh, I was like,
here so people knew.
Froze for a minute. I'm like, where'd it go?
No. Both predictions. He will start at some point 2021. I love it. Let's get it. So so we know the quarterback situation. One more guy that did get released this week. We actually discussed it before coming on air. Nick, I'm coming to you. Giovanni Bernard. You know how I feel about him. I like him. He's my guy from North Carolina, running back and kick returner. Washington has both of those spots filled, so I know he ain't gonna come here. Even though I would be like, look, cut 2 or 3 guys and bring my man in. But that's me personally.
That's you personally is right, because nobody else is thinking that, my friend. Right. So
that's why they don't let me in the boardroom for those meetings.
I don't think that's a great decision on your part. Just saying, but.
So where do you think? Okay. Where do you think he ends up, though? Where do you think he ends up? I mean, I can look right at you guys.
Well, see, that's the thing. But we just picked up Williams from Kansas City. True. I don't think we got Tariq still. That we're got to figure out what to do with him. You still got David Montgomery as our lead back. Unfortunately, Bernard doesn't fit in our plan either. It's not feasible. Yeah, that's not something that could, But here's the thing. I was just looking up because and I'm sorry, I'm such a blind person without my glasses. But I wanted to look up Bernard's career records because I was I always seem to think Giovanni has had good seasons in Cincinnati since he's been there. He got there in 2013, and I guess I overstated or overshot because looking at the numbers, you know what? They're not as impressive as I thought they might be.
Yeah.
I mean, he's only got a career 22 touchdowns in 8 seasons.
Yeah.
Yeah, and as much as, and again, and for the early part of his career, he was featured there as the main back in Cincinnati. It wasn't until little Joey Mixon came along that he had, Giovanni kind of took a back seat.
Yeah, he's not your number one. I don't
he's
think
not.
he can be your number one.
Right.
He was backup to before Joe Mixon came. He was a backup to someone else. Yeah, there you go.
Was it Benson? Yeah, Cedric Benson or something like that.
No,
it was but after that, it was somebody else. It was
it was someone before him. Like it was a bigger back or something like that.
Yeah,
like
he was
a 1-2 kind of hit.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like, so the kind of back that obviously he is, or that he's projected to be, is just that. A backup back. You know what I mean? He's not going to be your number one guy, obviously. So you need someone to, spell really Jeremy Hill. Jeez.
No, but you remember that one year Jeremy Hill had like 15 rushing touchdowns or something like that? Like Jeremy Hill was dominant one year.
Well, there's a lot of guys you could do that with, and then they're not in the league anymore.
That's what I'm saying. But I'm saying that's why Giovanni didn't play. That's why Gio.
No, I know. I got your point. Right. Yeah, I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
They also were without a real. they had Andy Dalton at the time, but we'll leave that alone. Gee, it's funny how his name keeps coming back up in conversation.
It keeps coming up. Let's go. All right. Well, hey, we got to move on. There have not been many moves that have been going on, but everything is leading up to the draft, which we will talk about a little bit later. But as for right now, actually, I do want to take this minute. Ab, did you want to say something about
Yeah, let me. We're story time. Back in the day, a lot of people, when they knew me in high school, I always had like my headphones on, and I used to do it every time before we play football. Every time I went out there and beat somebody's ass in wrestling, like I had my headphones on, and everybody's like, "Hey, Abdul, what are you listening to?" And I tell them, my let's get it on. X. I'm listening to X. So Eddie Hubbard, you had him on the show a few weeks ago.
Shout out to Eddie.
Eddie, my man. He will tell you to this day. He remembers me just being like all hyped up over some X, and it's such a nostalgia thing, and it's love, man. It's nothing but love for this man, and I mean, everybody has their hard times. We all have their hard times. Some hits us harder than others. You know what I'm saying? And it really hurts my heart to see this man in the hospital on life support. And I just want to give a shout out to him and tell him that he's in our prayers. He's in my prayers. And honestly, and if he doesn't make it, my life like is not like, he's helped me through a lot of things. Just his music just got me over the hump. Honestly, it was just a support system. I know it's weird because he talks about a lot of messed up stuff, especially his first album. But I was feeling it, bro. I'm trying to tell you, I was feeling it, and it definitely put a fire in me to go out there and do some things. And honestly, my life probably would not be the same without like his music. And I appreciate it to an overwhelmingly extent. It's awesome, man. And to me, it's just like, he's in our prayers. He's in my prayers. And honestly, like, we love you, man. Please get better. If not, rest easy. We love you. Honestly, just rest easy, man.
Just cause I love my said blood.
It's funny because that's not funny, but I mean, like, the way that some artists really do speak to people, like, you know what I mean? You just certain people, because people always go like, well, why would you, but no, there's always there's always like that one or two people like in entertainment or anything that you really kind of like gravitate towards, that really just like either they speak to you in some way through their music, through their acting or whatever it is. And to see that, and to see them like that, again, I'm not going to sit here and lie and pretend I'm the biggest DMX fan, but I know who he is and I've appreciated him over the years. And to me, him doing Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer is probably one of the funniest things I've ever heard in my life. And I play it every Christmas just because it makes me smile and I laugh. You know what I mean? He's like, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, had a very shiny nose. It's just tremendous. And it's, and it's those things, though, that tie you to people. Like Ab said, before you go into a wrestling match, he's got his music on. Before he hits the field, he's got his music on. It motivates him. It gets him going. So, yeah, absolutely, man. I mean, DMX, we hope you get better, buddy. I don't, again, it's a shame that these things do unfortunately happen in life. But again, he's fighting. They're holding vigils. People are praying. So, anything's possible, my friend. So hopefully, comes out of it okay. And, we'll have him for years to come to entertain us more.
Let's hope. Yes.
Definitely.
Shout out to you, X, man. You're in our prayers for sure. And the flip side to that story about Ab, you know what I'm saying? We looking, now we're, Ab's shirtless. I'm brash. I'm out and open. But Ab will tell you, man, in high school, I was guys, little timid Sean. That was the first CD that little church-going Sean hid from his mother. The one he's in here in a pool of blood. Yo, I'll never forget the first day I'm in my room. Love my where's my, and my mom walks in like, what is that? And I'm just, my mom, but it did something. But you know what though? But that's the thing about it. I'm somebody that's a lyricist, and we're gonna get back to football, guys. I'm somebody that's a lyricist. I'm somebody that likes to write, likes to spit, free, go, all that stuff. The way that he put things together, everybody like Nick, like you were saying, everybody says, "Oh, well, he said this and he said that." But if you're missing what he's saying in them songs, like if you're missing how he's breaking it down, just because of the way that it's coming across,
right? Yeah.
Hey, dude, I don't want to hear that Nirvana killed that. I don't want to do that, but somebody likes that. So you got it, man. People got to respect that stuff because he definitely was that. He definitely was my little rebellious thing. Let me smoke a cigarette. Yeah. I'm a thug in Herndon. Ab knows, Nick. Ab knows, man.
No, I'm sure. I can only imagine little Sean in high school trying to hide that from his mom. That would have been hilarious.
At this guy, like, who is this clown? Like this guy.
Nah, Sean is funny, man. Like Sean was like he's the most genuine cool kid that that I knew in high school, for real. Like
sure. Yeah.
I prayed at the games, Nick. I'm telling you. We were serious about ours, man. We were serious about ours. But look, we got to get back to football, guys. We got to get back to football. Yo, I absolutely love that. Actually, you're in our prayers. We'll definitely keep it going for you, man, for sure. We're going to go ahead and move on to like it, love it, or hate it. Hated it. And look, and we got to get right into it. Nick, I'm going to come to you first. You're outside looking in, but Washington's been making a lot of moves. And the most recent move, Washington hired their first Latina X. Where's Delilah? I need her here to give me this for Nick. The first Latina to serve as the coordinator of football programs in Washington, Natalia Durantes. I mean, how do you like it? Like it or love it or hate it?
Here's the thing. Nick, what do you do when you're perceived as the most racist owner in football? You hire you change your PR by hiring all minorities. Look at all the positions that have been filled by Black and Latino and Latina people in the and again, you don't want it, like I said, from the outside looking in, not a Washington fan like you guys are, but you're like, way to go, Schneider. This is a great PR move. Let's hire a Latina for this position. It'll be great. You're going to look like you're a guy who accepts everybody. You're going to look like the guy who's doing everything to make this team as diverse as possible. Like you said, you got rid of the Redskins logo. You now have a dance team instead of cheerleaders or whatever that situation is.
So sad.
But again, I like it for the aspect of these people getting hired and getting an opportunity. That you have to like. Maybe you don't like the circumstance under which it happened, or you think it's some phony intent behind it. But these are opportunities for these people to get their foot in the door and to start their careers in football. So more power to them, and I hope it works out well for them. Whatever Daniel Snyder does, like I hope for these people who've been put in these positions that they succeed and that they, either they stay with Washington or move on, have great careers in football. But yeah, I mean, so for that, I guess I have to like it. The hiring itself, absolutely. But dislike kind of the maybe the intent behind it, as it were. But go ahead.
Yeah, I understand where you're coming from. Ab, what do you think, man?
I don't disagree with anything that he just said. Like, honestly, I've been saying that for weeks now. I appreciate it. I appreciate how it is for the minorities because it was hard, especially in the league. It's hard for minorities to come up and to bring it up. But it just, to me, it's to draw attention away from of what we did wrong for so many years. And it's like, to me, that even though I appreciate it, it's just like, you're not fooling anybody, Dan Snyder. You're not, you know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Like, you're really not, bro. I feel like, because I even say, like, I feel like that's what he did with Ron Rivera. Like, he even did that with him, Yeah. So, like, I agree with my man Nick. I've been saying it for weeks now. Like, I appreciate the moves, hiring these people, hiring these minorities in these positions on the team, but you're not fooling nobody, Dan.
Right. I mean, and again, like Ab, you documented it multiple weeks that this is what it is. We've talked about it, Nick. We've brought it up on Washington, on Let's Talk Football, the roundtable. He's covering up. It's optics. It's all about optics. He's making everybody think, hey, look at all these things I'm doing. And maybe you'll forget that I did all this nonsense and I've been doing all this nonsense and I've supported all this nonsense. So, I mean, it is what it is. I love it in the sense, like what you were saying, Nick, that these guys, they're getting an opportunity and we can't overlook the fact that they're getting an opportunity. And so hopefully that will take it as that and be in that benefit. My only concern is after he gets to the point where he does then own the team and own everything completely, and a couple years down the line, and we don't need him to sit here and be this, he doesn't need to be on his P's and Q's anymore, then he's just kind of like, all right, we're good. You did your time. Bye. And just get it out. I just don't trust him. I don't trust him. So we're going to move on. Ab, I'm going to come to you first. We discussed this off the show and definitely want to bring this to you. Ron Rivera said there will be a QB competition in Washington. And like you said in his interview, he's not desperate to look at that position. Yeah. So what do you think?
So it's about interpretation. He said that he's not desperate to, in a sense, reach for a quarterback. So that means trade up to get a quarterback that he likes. And to me, I've been like, if you go back to one of our first shows, I said this all along. So this is going along the plans that I said. Will might disagree, but I've been saying this for a while now. That Ron Rivera will draft a quarterback after picking up a quarterback in free agency after he picked up Heineke. I said Heineke or Allen, but he picked them both up. So it's along the lines of what I've been saying this whole time. So I don't think he's going to reach for one. Like I just don't see that being his way. If he does, I think it's awesome. Yeah. But I think, to me, we were talking about it before the show. I think he'll go after Trask or maybe a Newman or a Mod. Yeah.
Oh yeah, Mod from Yes.
So I think, and I'm trying to tell you, I was saying it's like if we can get Kirk Cousins kind of production out of a third, fourth, fifth rounder, I'm all about it, man. Do that. So like I love that he's not going to reach for one. I like his standpoint, but let's go quarterback competition. All four of those guys, and let's go.
Yeah. I'm right there with you. I'm gonna go next since we are Washington Football Weekly. I'm with you, man. Let's go. Let them compete. Let everybody know that hey, you are good as how you are helping the team. If you're not helping the team, I don't have any room for it. Let them all fight for a job. Like we had talked about before with Steven Montez and trying to get him noticed. We didn't even know who this guy was. You know what I mean? And now they're starting to get him out there. I think that honestly, Rivera is weeding out the bad apples. He's getting the guys in there that he wants, and this is part of it. Who's going to lead our team? You need to prove to the team. Everybody needs to see you in a quarterback competition, so you prove to the team what we're about. I like that. Let's get that going.
And let me say this too. Me and Sean both know. What people don't know is me and Sean both played running back at Herndon High School. And literally, we pushed each other every day. I was just like, look, I'm not letting this underclassman beat me, bro. Like, I'm not finna do it. It's not about to happen. Right? But like this man, like we literally pushed each other. And honestly, it was a competition. But at the same time, we were brothers. We both tried to make each other better. Like, we were both like, hey, do you see this? Do you see that? And that's how we move. We try to help each other, but at the same time, we were trying to win this position.
Exactly. And that only makes you better. Nick, what's up, man? Outside looking in, but quarterback competition in Washington.
Well, here's my thing. I love a good quarterback competition personally. If you got people in there who can compete for it.
Right.
I mean, again, what is the formula? I was talking about this. I don't know if it was with you guys or with somebody at the round table, but what's one of the things that good GMs do? You always draft a quarterback. Like Ab said, what's wrong with grabbing a third or fourth round, fifth round quarterback who's out there to bring the kid in and see what he can do? He obviously played in college and was good enough to play in college. Give him a look. You have no idea again, we all know the story. Tom Brady was what, 7th round out of Michigan when 6th round when they picked him up. So, and look what happened there. Yes, maybe you can know. I mean, we're not going to go over the arguments, but my point is you can find a diamond in the rough. Nothing wrong with picking another quarterback up in the 4th, 5th, or 6th round, throwing him in the mix with Fitzpatrick, Kyle Allen, and what's the other guy's name? Tyler Heineke, right? So why not throw a fourth guy in there, and one guy gets cut. You throw him in, you start with 3. One guy doesn't make the cut, he's out. There you go. And then every year you do the same thing. You trim it down until you get what you want, man. Because again, you're in a position now that you probably aren't, like you said, aren't going to draft a quarterback per se with that 19th pick to really pick up an impact player. So that now becomes a very important pick for you guys to pick up something you really need. And Ron can still have his quarterback competition by picking a quarterback later on. So I'd say I'm all for the competition. Let's do it. Like I said, I like Ron Rivera. I always have. He's a bear at heart as far as I'm concerned. So I will always root for Mr. Rivera. So, hey, have the competition. May the best man win. And, hopefully you guys won't finish better than us. There you go. That's all I can say.
Exactly. As long as you keep it real, Nick. As long
as you don't finish better than us, I don't really care. No, it's good.
And last but not least, I'll start on this. Sheriff declines multiple contract extension offers. We talked about this multiple times. He's making 18 on the franchise tag. Listen, I'm glad. I think we were both on the same page where the team and him are kind of like, listen, you're saying you don't want to sign. That's fine. We got you for this next year. Let's do what we do this year and then hit the road. We'll figure out what happens next year. We'll go from there. But I like this. I like that we're not, I like that he's not, we're not making any bones about it. both sides are kind of like, this is what the move we're gonna make. Ab, what you think, man?
I told you I'm not happy with paying him $18 million this year. All right, I'm not happy about it at all. So this actually upsets me because the only thing I said about the franchise tagging him was I'd only like it if he signs an extension.
Yeah.
That's the only reason. That's the only way that I'd like it. But to me, it's like, I understand Sheriff is doing Kirk Cousins. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's doing a Dak Prescott. Like, look, you're not about to pay me $18 million this year and then tell me I'm going to take $16.5 million for the next few years. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That's not, and I totally understand that aspect of it. You know what I'm saying? But we just paid this man $16 million last year. We paying him $18 million this year. You know what I'm saying? $16.5 million or $17 million for the next few years. That makes him the highest paid guard in the league.
Yeah.
But it's not in the trajectory of where his pay should be. Like, honestly, if you're really thinking about it, $18 million is where you start off with. Is the number you start off with per year. And to me, I think that's stupid, bro. Like, it's crazy. Like, you don't, for a guard. I'm sounding redundant because I know I've said this several times already. It's redundant, and I knew we wouldn't get a deal done. So to me, we need to trade this man during the draft. It is hands down. That's what we need to do, because literally this guy's pay is 3 players.
Yeah.
The way you like 3 players this year.
Yeah.
Potentially 3 starters. You know what I'm saying? Like, and for what? For him to miss 3 games at least? At least 3 games.
He gets hurt. He's injury prone for sure.
At least 3 games this year. So to me, it's like, to me, nah, man. Like, trade him, get some picks, get a player. Honestly, let's trade player for player. Allen Robinson, Brandon Sheriff.
Yeah. You want to trade franchise tags, do you? I see how you're playing. Listen to this guy. That's a good one, Ab. That's a good one. I'll tell you what. Fine. I'll see you, Allen Robinson. We'll throw you in Nick Foles so you can have another quarterback to your
There you go.
How about that?
Right.
You know? Then Ron Rivera can have 5 quarterbacks in the room and throw them all in there and see who does what. Give me a break, bro. Yeah, you know what? It's funny, though, because, you got to sit there and you go, I don't know, maybe Allen Robinson would like that, because of the way we're going, like, he's probably like, I got to play with Andy Dalton now. I thought Mitch was bad. Now I got to play with Dalton. Like, come on, you know.
That upgrade.
If I was Allen Robinson, I'd be upset too. Like, what the hell, man? What's going on here? I thought we were trying to upgrade our team. What is this?
Right.
It's interesting because, that's what ended up happening with that being franchise tagged twice. Now they got the extension and they way overpaid. Like, we all know that. We had talked about that. Jerry Jones way overpaid. And the thing is, if you're going to give Sheriff, like you said, $18 million this year, so this is the second year you guys have tagged him.
Yes. Straight.
So you're not going to start the next. If you try to franchise him next year, you probably owe him like 25 or 26 on the way that thing.
Not even.
So no,
not even doing
it. No, right, exactly, not going to happen. So as Ab said, you have 2 choices here. You sign the extension soon, or you get rid of him, because you're right. Otherwise, you're going to eat all that damn money, and you're not going to have anything to show for it.
Yep.
So you've backed yourself kind of into a corner in that sense, because what you could get for Sheriff probably is draft picks, at least in this year's draft. You know what I mean? You could get something for him. Everybody needs line help. There's tons of teams that can use a guard. So I
think we could at least get a second. At least get a second.
Easily, absolutely. On a franchise tag player, I think you could. You're right. So I think Washington, you've got 2 choices, and there they are. Like, they really are. Like, you're either going to extend the guy again and give him give him an offer, or you're going to have to get rid of him, because there's no way you're going to pay a guard over 20 million next year to franchise. You know, that's ridiculous.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
That's Chicago Bears type management. You guys are better than that. I think. I don't know. I could be wrong, but it is Dan Snyder, so I could. Yeah, I mean,
right.
What do I know?
The fact that we tagged him twice twice 2 years straight.
Yeah,
that should show you the dysfunction in our front office.
Well, absolutely, I agree with you.
Yeah.
I agree with you.
And we all know this isn't the first time that we tagged somebody 2 times in a row, and then something happened that next year. We all know how the Kirk Cousins saga ended.
And look at how much they overpaid for Kirk.
84.
I mean, honestly, think about it. The money that guy is getting from Minnesota is just ridiculous.
84 million.
Here's a guy, and again, I know we're talking Washington. I'm just saying, but here's a guy.
Oh yeah, that's Washington.
Who's he benefited from all that. Gets 84 million. He's going to be like the most mediocre $84 million quarterback you'll ever see in your life.
Yes,
but he'll have a long career and he has plenty of money. Whatever. Good for him.
But he went to Michigan State, and all the Michigan State people like him.
Well, that's fine. I'm sure he's a fine stand-up citizen, but he's as a quarterback. How about that?
This guy, look, and shout out to our guy, Anton Benton. This is Anton's guy. Moral support. He's a great locker room guy, all right?
Oh.
He's a rah-rah.
So am I, but you're not paying me $84 million,
right?
Whatever.
Right.
I could pump everybody. I could be a great locker room guy.
Right.
Pay me $84 million. I'll go play quarterback. The hell. I can hand off the ball. Jeez.
Right.
I don't want to hear that. He's a great locker room guy. Isn't that what they say when guys are like suck? Like these guys who have all this talent, like you're supposed to have all this talent, and like when he doesn't play well, yeah, but he's a great locker room guy, guys. He's really, who cares?
Right.
Clay Cutler was the worst locker room guy in the world. Nobody liked that guy, but you still,
Or if you're a vet and they don't want to tell you to retire, and they're kind of like, oh yeah, we signed him because he's a great locker room.
He's a great leader in the locker room. He takes the young guys under his wing. And shut up.
Yo, exactly.
I don't want to hear that crap.
We have to move on. We have to move on draft talk. I've got my man Nick on here. If you know and watch Let's Talk Football, the Roundtable, you know Nick did his mock drafts. No trades in those mock drafts. Once all the crazy trades came out, we saw how that blew up that. And we will be doing in the coming weeks on both shows, we will be spotlighting the draft. Leading up to April 29th, ladies and gentlemen, we will be in Chicago doing the draft, the live draft as they come. We will be looking at every single pick, who goes where. I will also be calling in my guys, the Shirtless Wonder Ablo and South Carolina's Eggplant Will Kramer, to join us so that they can talk and we can discuss Washington's pick. And I can't wait. I can't wait.
I'm not going to lie. I'm actually right. I want to see who you guys pick because I want to hear the conversation among you three when, that pick comes out because we're right behind you. So you're 19, we're 20. So I'm very interested to see how this goes.
So most of the night, and most of the people are going to be watching the draft, and they're like, "Oh, let's see what happens in the first 5 picks." We're like, "Go past all that. Go past all that.
Yeah.
Let's get to 19 and 20. Let's see
we already know that pretty much the first 7 or 8 are probably going to go. So it doesn't get exciting until stuff starts happening that you didn't expect.
Exactly.
You can pretty much predict the top 5 or 6 at least, I'm sure.
Yeah. And speaking of things that you can't expect, one of the reasons why you have that, we've seen all the mini trades that have been going on. We've seen everything that's really kind of been taking place and over the last couple of years, and that has begot teams having a bounty of picks. And that's led with Philadelphia. They have 11 picks. The Jets, the Jags, Dallas, Green Bay, New England, and Minnesota all have 10 picks. Cleveland, Tennessee, San Francisco, the Chargers, Atlanta, and the Broncos have 9. And not too far behind, Washington and Chicago have 8. So, as we know, having the picks and making good picks are 2 very different things. We can easily go back to that monumental trade between the Saints and Washington all those years back that landed the Saints with Ricky Williams, and everybody was like, oh my God, Dick could mortgage, the whole franchise, the future. But what did Washington do with those picks?
Not
The
a
only
bad
name I can
thing.
remember is Dexter Nottage, and he was guard. So,
Wow.
so it does not matter if you have 100 picks. If you don't know how to use them and pick correctly, that can say something. Now, with that being said, like we mentioned before, Ab, I'm going to come to you. We have 8 picks in that draft. We've already mentioned what we think we're getting number 1. We've already mentioned how we lean linebacker and this. But what I think, and I want you to touch on, Ab, you did mention a quarterback later in the round, second, third. Talk to me about that, and talk to me about some other positions we might particularly need later in the draft.
So let me just say this: the draft should be called the lottery because literally, it's not about. It's like we don't know the number 1 pick's going to be a number 1 pick, like a stereotypical number 1 pick. Like we think, we assume, but like honestly, what the draft is literally saying you have this many chances to hit the jackpot, and that's what the lottery is. So it should be called the lottery, not the draft. so let me just say that. And to me, I'm like, and to go back to your question, Sean, I already said this. We need an inside linebacker. Over the past few weeks, I've been saying my man JOK. Like I start off with JOK, but I'm leaning now towards the Xavier Collins. And to me, I think the Washington football team can trade back and still pick up Xavier Collins and get more picks. And honestly, that's where I'm leaning more towards. They did a survey, not a survey, but basically what is it? Basically, second round, we don't do well. We don't pick well in the second round. Leaning back towards maybe 10 years ago when we picked up those 2 wide receivers, Kelly and it was horrible. Like I think, nah. So second round is our worst round, but honestly, to me, we can definitely do something with more second round picks. Honestly, maybe it's different with Ron Rivera. We need offensive line, especially if we're going to get trade away Sheriff. I'd say wide receiver, pick up another. I think we need a slot receiver because I don't trust who's our new guy. Adam Humphries. Yeah, I don't trust him. I think he's going to get hurt. So we need to pick up. I think we need to pick up because this draft is full of small midgets that run fast. So literally pick up one of these guys and have them put them in there. And I'm all about it. I'm all about picking up someone maybe doesn't have to play this year, but put him out there next year. Another position, quarterback. I think we have 2 third rounders, so let's get a quarterback with one of them. Too easy. Cornerback, definitely. We need someone to pick up after we let go of Moreau. So someone right there. Safety, free safety. We didn't address that in free agency. So definitely looking to hit that. Maybe second round pick. Get a free safety. Asante Samuels Jr. Is he a safety? Or a cornerback?
Yeah, I think he was more corner, but I mean, we might be able to push him around.
Yeah,
if he has skills.
I mean, he might be there for a second round pick. And honestly, I say we double up on linebacker because we didn't touch up on linebacker.
Yeah, we don't need to
in free agency. I mean, we did get that one guy, but Mayo. But I don't know who he is. So definitely pick up 2 linebackers in the draft, and you can't go wrong with a defensive end. Honestly, you can't go wrong. Like we've done it almost every year, picking up a defensive end in the 7th round. So the last two drafts. So let's get it. Another defensive end.
Oh, I'm with it. I'm absolutely with it. And I'm gonna go ahead and go, Nick. So because I'm gonna let you talk Bears as well. So we like we said, we've been talking linebacker. I'm with that. Along the lines, this is one thing, and I'm gonna shout out Will on this. This is one thing that him and I were discussing along the lines of what you were saying with the whole sheriff thing. If we can somehow work out a trade and maybe move up a spot or two or a couple spots somehow with getting the sheriff trade and getting something like that, I would not be opposed to potentially picking up maybe a tackle. If we can get one of these studs, a Darasol or a Slater, somebody, one of these Vera Tucker, right? One of these studs. If we can get one of these guys that we can get them for cheap and really get them into our system and working in them young, I would definitely, I wouldn't have a problem with that. Other than that, I agree with going back a couple picks because I think Xavier Collins is definitely getting overlooked. You know, people aren't really looking at him, and you know, we see something. We think we see something, but we're hoping that we know where we're going with this. And I think we're good, but I don't think he's getting looked at as much. As far as later rounds, like you said, small, speedy receiver Rondell Moore out of Purdue. I absolutely love that pick. I love. We talked about this before, and Nick, you talked about it with I think the Ravens, Rashad Bateman. I mean, potentially, if that's available, and maybe a couple guys that we were looking for are off the board, I like that. I do like the receivers, and yes, if a Trask is around in the third round, or that Jamie, I'm so glad you brought up Newman out of Georgia Tech. If I'm not mistaken, or did Georgia Tech or Wake Forest, one of those ACC schools. He is he literally is one of those quarterbacks that's like a dual threat. He's got some ability, he's got some size, got some moves on him, he's got an arm, but he didn't get any looks because he was in the ACC, which doesn't get any looks. He's with Georgia Tech, which normally runs that read option or the triple option. So he didn't get really looks, but he had some good games. So I definitely like getting a quarterback later in the round, letting him see what he can do, improve himself. So yeah, I'm definitely with you on that. But O-line, I think, is huge. But that's coming from let's get Sheriff and let's move him on. Because like you said, the extent I like that for this year, but I definitely think we need to start planning and game planning for when he's gone. Because I think that's inevitable. I think he's going to be out of here. So let's start game planning for that now, as opposed to waiting till he leaves and then we're in a situation where like, oh, we got a hole now. So O-line, definitely interested in. Wide receiver, definitely. And then safety for sure. Jack is saying Jamon Davis. I got to look him up. Nick, Davis, you like? Okay.
Yeah.
Bet. So, hey, there's somebody at 18 or potentially higher if we can move up and trade Sheriff. Nick, what do you think? I know first I'm going to ask you about Washington because I know what you picked. That was before we knew anything, and Mac Jones was still potentially available at 19.
Right.
Now, what are you looking at? Now that we think he's not – we're pretty sure he's not going to be there.
Well, as you said, depending on the Sheriff thing and how that works out, there's a couple of tackles that are there for you guys to take. Yep. Darasol, like you said, Elijah Vera Tucker. If Rashad Slater drops that far, but you guys, linebacker help, I think, was one of the other bigger needs that you guys had. So there are a couple of linebackers coming out of this draft. It's a kid out of Penn State, Quiddy Pay, I think was one of them, and a couple. Again, I know you guys are high on the Notre Dame guy, so Mr. Jeremiah. Okay. So yeah, I mean, I think for you guys that would be great because again, solidifying you guys have a young defense, which is good. So getting another couple guys in there to mesh with everybody else, I think would be great for you guys going forward in the future. And Rivera was a linebacker himself; he understands the position. He understands how to play the position. So I think that's a plus too. And drafting a linebacker, Rivera would know what to look for. I would imagine. So. Yeah, I think that's probably where you guys should go. And again, as you said, 3rd, 4th, 5th round, grab another quarterback that's out there, put them in the competition, see what you got. I think that would work out great for you guys. Probably about.
What about Chicago? What about you guys?
It's so hard to talk about this, Sean, because it just really is, though, because you sit there and you shake your head and go, why are we never in on anything? Like, why are we always chasing our tail or always making moves that just don't seem to make any damn sense? Or you shake your head and go, so here, 8 picks, right? We got 8 picks in this draft.
Yeah.
Our biggest needs are offensive line. Now we need cornerback. You got rid of Kyle Fuller. We had cut Buster Screen earlier. So you're probably going to need some cornerback safety help. We could always use another, probably, receiver. I mean, I would say receiver has become a need too, given the question mark with Allen Robinson as well, who could be gone after this year. Easily.
He'll be gone after this year.
Probably, but again, I'm trying to hold out some sort of hope. But like you said, it's the same.
What do you think of Kadarius Toney from?
Well, I like Kadarius Toney from Florida.
He's getting a lot of attention these days.
If you remember when I did my receivers, he was one of the guys I mentioned. Yeah. So yeah, if he's available there in the second round still, I would love to pick that kid up. Some people have him being gone in the first round. We'll see. Because some people, I saw a mock draft where someone had the Bears taking him at 20. They had them taking Kadarius Toney. And I went, that's interesting.
I've seen him being taken in 19 on a lot of drafts also.
Yeah. So you just go, okay. I mean, I like Kadarius Toney, and if he's there, sure, we do need receiver help. Or we're going to need receiver help, I should say. But I just, again, it's hard when we don't seem to draft well. And that's really upsetting to me because it's like, that's how you build your team. And yes, you can build your team through trades and free agency, sure. But drafting has always been the number one successful way to build a team. It's always been that way, and I think it's always going to be that way. It just is. You have to build through the draft. You can't always count on having enough money to get free agents or to do it that way, or that guys are going to want to sign with you because you're the Chicago Bears. Because we know that's not happening. I don't see anybody dying to come here. So yeah,
no.
So exactly. So yeah, it's I hope that somehow Ryan Pace, fearing for his job or something, tries to pull something out of his behind with this year's draft, and I hope. All I can hope for is that the guys that we pick up work out and that, whatever we decide to do, with that quarterback room, like, again, if I told you, man, I got Andy Dalton, Nick Foles, and Tyler Bray, man, we're going to do it. You'd look at me and laugh. Like,
right.
So, I believe me, I don't have any confidence in my quarterbacks, and the Bears are my team. So I'm very weary going into this draft about what we're going to do. So, I'm going to be watching with you guys. We'll be doing the show, Sean. So if I start crying, just let me be, man. I'm going to cower up in the corner and just be by myself for a while because, yeah, I believe me, I'm desperately waiting to see who we take at 19 to begin with. If we don't, in fact, try to trade. Because, again, you could say, well, why don't the Bears trade up? What are you going to trade up with? What are you going to give them?
Right.
Nick Foles?
Allen Robinson.
Yeah. Well, again, the fact that you franchise tagged him a second time, again, a la the Scherf, if you can make a big deal like that and get a lot back for Robinson, then I'm not opposed to that at all.
Exactly.
Then you can just draft another receiver or two and you're fine.
You got Mooney.
Again, I like Darnell Mooney too. Hopefully he'll have a good second year. And again, we're one of those teams that, we're a running team. So you got the big, tight ends. We got Cole Kmet. We got Jimmy Graham. But Jimmy Graham couldn't block me. But I'm just saying, like, this is part of our thing is where we like these big tight ends and whatever, and it's, I don't know, man. Like I said, I'm very interested, but I'm also and I seem pessimistic, I know.
Yes.
So I'm hoping that my attitude will change before April 29th, but right now they're not inspiring a lot of confidence. I'll leave it at that.
And guys, we're so glad that you joined us here on the therapy session.
Yeah, exactly.
The Washington Football Team and Bears therapy section, because we are both anxiously awaiting the moves that our teams make.
Yeah.
And no matter how much research we do, no matter how much we sit here and we go through the paperwork, we go through the numbers and this and that, we still know that our management is funky.
Yeah.
Funky like 2-day-old skunky beer.
That's true.
And we just, nothing that we do seems to make sense. But at least for us, maybe Ron Rivera, maybe he has some control he does what he needs to do. Ab, did you want to say something on that?
On what? I'm sorry.
I just know anything he was saying about the Bears or any of that stuff.
I don't think you can replace Allen Robinson with Tony. Isn't Tony small? Like he's a small wide receiver. Like
6'2", I believe he was 6'2".
Really? Oh, okay.
I believe so. Let me check. Let me double check because I thought
he was small. Like I said, the draft is riddled with small wide receivers. So
wide receivers, you're right. But yeah, let me check.
So
that.
like to me, like you don't replace a number one with a slot. You know what I'm saying? So
right, I get you.
Yeah, that's just my only argument right there. Like
no, you're right. 5'11", 5'11".
Yeah. So to me, maybe a Bateman. Bateman's like 6 something, right?
Rashad's 6'4". That guy's a beast. Yeah.
Yeah. So you get what I'm saying. That's interchangeable.
No, I'm with you.
You can do that.
Yeah, I'm with you.
So I mean that'd be my only thing. I wanted to ask this question to you, Nick. Would you trade number 20 for Sheriff?
Ooh. Well, it's interesting because again, you're looking at a guy who at least right now has proven he can play in the NFL. You know, I don't know what his injury thing is like, but 20 seems it still seems a little high for a guard, as you said. If he was a tackle and it was, a little bit more proven, that would probably do it. But just for a guard at 20, I don't think that I would. I don't think. But again, it's the Bears, and they'll do anything. So you never know.
Anything could happen.
You guys could maybe want to propose this and call Chicago and call Ryan Pace and see if they'll do it. And you guys can have a deal by next week.
They're like, wait, you got something new? Oh
we'll even throw in a second rounder just because we do that. Like we'll give you another pick, and for sure. Let's just give away picks. Why not? We don't need them.
But I like, that move is going to be interesting. A lot of talk about Sheriff, around these franchise tag guys, because a lot of people still don't understand. A lot of people think that when you franchise tag somebody, they're stuck with you. They don't have to sign. Like they can still kind of, offers and moves can still be made.
Right.
But it's just not likely. So we'll see how all that stuff plays out, because that is going to be very, very interesting. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been fun as always. We try to bring you the most upfront, straight talk, football and life, everything. Like we try to bring that to you, because that's what this is. You can't sit here and have a show about football and then not let life creep in, and vice versa. You know what I mean? True. So I'm glad we had those real moments, man. Ab, that tribute was nice. I appreciate that, man. That was dope.
Thanks for letting me had a chance to say something, man. Like that, it's been on my mind all day. So I appreciate the chance to say something, man. Thank you.
Oh, please believe that. Please believe that. So definitely shout out to him. And shout out to Ab. You might actually know her, Jen Allen.
Yeah.
My old next door neighbor. Her dad, they had to take him to the hospital. He was at home, but they had to take him to the hospital. He was at an ICU, but now they kind of moved him down to more of a lower ICU
regular
level.
room.
Yeah. So send your prayers, send your best wishes. He's amazing man. You already know how Jen is. She's so great, but he's somebody that's always, he's been tall, who big guy that always used to be able to lift big things. He was in his band, so he was always taking the speakers and all those things, and now not being able to do all of that, it's just a what I mean? It's a shot. It's so definitely, man, definitely keep him in your thoughts and your prayers, man. And hey, guys, keep health in your thoughts and prayers, because a lot of us, we're all here, and we're so glad we can do this show and be here with y'all. But there's a lot of people that we talk about it every show. People that are going home to be with the Lord. People that are in the hospital. COVID is still running rampant.
Still real.
Right. So guys, just Just
Be
keep
careful out there, bro.
Yeah, exactly.
Just
No, it's
for
true.
real. Be careful
there
out
it
there.
is. There it is, guys. There it is, man. Because you know what I'm saying? Hey, it's poetic justice.
Oh, okay.
Poetic.
Tupac. There it is. You gotta love Tupac. I mean, hey.
And look, I want to leave you off with the other part of this story that Ab told earlier. And I've told this story before. And Ab told how we were both running backs in high school, and he was a year ahead of me. And it was our senior year. We were playing our arch rival, South Lakes. And Ab, they were playing. Leandre Boone was on that team, and we were doing it. They were all doing their thing. And I was backup. I was okay with my role. I was quiet. I didn't want to say anything. Third down came in. I guess Ab needed a breather. They put me in the game. Ran a toss. They ran a toss to me.
Okay.
I have never felt any slow motion in my life, but that I didn't feel like I can move at all. I got tackled right away. Ran back to the sidelines, and our coach, who normally would jump down your throat, was so mad he didn't even say anything to me. And so then I came over, and I ran right next to Ab. And he said, "What's wrong with you, man?" And I said, I froze. And he hit me on the helmet. He said, "Get it together." But you know what, though? But you know what the funny thing is? That right there, that iron, sharpening iron,
right?
I never had that issue again. Never again.
Did you get back in the game, though?
Story, man. No, I didn't get back in the game. No. Coach, I was lucky to get back on the bus. Coach,
right, yeah, probably, yeah.
Back in that game.
Oh man!
But I had to shout out my boy Ab because you know what, man, Ab knew me at that particular point. I was very quiet, I was timid, I was this and that, but people like Ab saw the person inside. They saw the stuff, and that's what I try to instill in everything I see. Anybody I associate with, it's because there's something in there that's living, that's good, that's passionate. And I believe that with all you guys. So I gotta definitely shout out Ab, because the Shirtless Wonder, you the man. You know you my guy, man.
Nah, and you're my dude, Sean. For real. We go back like two flats. What was it? The two Cadillacs.
Like 4 flats on a Cadillac.
Yeah.
4 flats on a Cadillac.
Yo, and I have to shout out my main man, Nicholas. I want to smoke Rosario, man. Every time I've asked you to do any type of show, any type to be there for any situation, you've been there, no question, no hesitation. If you could be there, you've been there. Tonight, 2 of our guys were out. I hit you up and said I might need you. You just told me when and where. And that, man, that's love, man. That's real, man. I appreciate you so much, man. I appreciate both of y'all.
Man. I appreciate you. Here's the thing, Sean. And again, I thank you because, again, this is a platform you started. This is an opportunity you're given. You wanted to share your passion for talking sports, football, whatever. And so I look at it as, man, I'm here to help you. Whatever you need, man. If you need somebody, I'll be there, man. No questions asked. I'll follow you where you're going because, again, you're just doing your thing. You're following your passion. You're doing what you love to do. And I love that. So, I mean, if you, like I said, you ever need me, man, you just call me,
I'm here.
Ab, you too. I like you. You're all right, man. I mean, you don't wear a shirt, but all right. It's cool.
Let's go.
It, right. I get it. But,
it's my house over here. I'm over here.
Yeah. Hey, you're right. You pay the rent. I'm not going to tell you what to wear, but
let's go.
Just don't ever pan down. That's all I ask. Because I don't want to know if you're not wearing anything else. That's all I'm saying. Just saying.
Let's go.
Just saying.
Yo, hey, gotta shout out to y'all. Hey, look, I'm not gonna lie. Like my baby says, I love listening to my voice. I'm very vain, so that's the only reason I have these shows. But I'm holler at y'all. But no, hey guys, we're so glad you were able to join us. This is Washington Football Weekly. We will be with you again next week. I am Sean Spencer. I got my man over to the right, the Shirtless Wonder, Mr. L. Love. And then I got my man under me, Nicholas. I want the smoke. Rosario. Let's get it.
Thank you. Anytime.
All right, people. Yo, so glad you guys will join us.
Yeah, you guys have a great week. You have a great week, guys.
Oh